levels on this thing this morning. It it hadn't done this gigantic run up, and so then at the open, I was like, okay, well, let me put a Fibonacci on it. And so here's the opening price right here. Oh, wait. Here's the opening price right here. And it hasn't pulled back at all. Just a tremendous run on RH. Right now, it's up $89 from yesterday's close. Congratulations to anybody who's in this name already. It was a big day for you. And so no trade, I was thinking about, it was moving really rather quickly for a $690 stock, but I really didn't see any clean setups in any of this, and so I just didn't go for it, so no trade. CLF looks like it's trying to pull back to one of my levels here. Let me get rid of the Fibonacci. So I have levels at 22.46 and 21.81 on CLF. It opened at 23.53 and made it to a high of 24.77. Nice dollar move there on the opening 10-minute candle. Let's look at it in the 1 minute. Yeah, so came down. It opened, came down. I guess tested this 23.40-ish level at the open. It came down, found support there, came back down again, found support there again, and then took off. That's all within the first 10 minutes. But it didn't come anywhere near my levels, and so no trade. These are my levels right here, 22.46 and 21.81. Let's see here real quick. Yeah, so this candle right here, this level 75% fib, which actually isn't a Fibonacci. 75% is just what I changed it to. $23.18. The low of this red candle right here was $23.22. So, yeah, no trade. Yay. OSAT. Now, so I bought 200 shares on OSAT. I bought 100 for the break of this candle high right here. And actually OSAT, let me see if I can find it here. This is the 1 minute, 942, 948. So on this candle right here, on this candle right here, it squeezed into a halt at 698. And so I watched it. It opened and it opened up here at roughly 749, went a penny higher, and then just started to come down. Found support in this area, right in here, and started to run up. And so I bought the break of that run up. Now I got filled at $7.47. So when I hit the buy button, it was already on its way down. And so I was like, okay, well, here's VWAP. I'll average in, and I'll buy another 100 shares, and see if this is just a temporary pullback, which it wasn't. And so it made an attempt to come back up and just couldn't do it. So I dumped it, and I lost 20 cents per share on 200 shares, a little bit, 21 cents per share on 200 shares for a $41 loss. So it's kind of like, all right, whatever. And the chart isn't really very nice looking anyway. It's real spotty and so forth, although there's a lot more volume on this name than is being reflected by the chart. The volume is at 9.7 million shares today so far. But it just isn't working. So fortunately, I capped my losses on those 200 shares, 20 cents rather than trying to hang on to it. It did go profitable for me right here, but I was really looking for the big break. And then after it pulled back, I just dumped it so I wouldn't have too severe of a loss. and I got filled at kind of a low price, but whatever, that's the way it goes sometimes. Then there's MDLY. MDLY, I traded twice. The first time I traded it for 500 shares. And the second time I traded it for 100 shares. Let me get rid of the Fibonacci real quick. So this morning, I was looking. Oh, actually, you know what? I was looking at this Fibonacci right here, and this is the 61. No, this is the 50% Fibonacci. Yeah, $11.30 was the 50% Fibonacci, and it opened up in the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes after the open. It was really kind of playing a tug of war right here around this Fibonacci. And I wasn't sure if it would break up or break down or what would happen with it exactly. So I was like, okay, well, if it can make it past the peak of this candle right here, then it will be a buy. And so as soon as it started to break, I started buying, and I got into 500 shares. And on those 500 shares, it ran up, and so I started letting it go around this Fibonacci, and I held on to a little bit to see if it would break. I held on to 100 shares to see if it would break and keep going higher, but it didn't, and it tumbled very quickly back down below my purchase price, which was around $11.87. A little bit higher, a little bit lower, but And on that trade, on that name, I managed to pull down about $110, $112. So then the second time I traded it, I still had this Fibonacci up, and I bought right here at $9.97. I think I got the low here is $9.90. So I had an order in at $9.97. This Fibonacci is $9.99. I don't know why I chose $9.97, but I did. Just a couple cents under the fib. Because sometimes it'll break under the fib, and then you'll get buyers. So I decided to be one of the buyers under the fib. And I only managed to pull 6 cents off of this one. It went up, came back down close to the fib again and started to move up. And the spread was pretty wide. So I think there was about a 10 to 15 cent spread. So the bid was saying like, $10, and the ask was saying $10.15, and it was getting filled in between those numbers at like 10.06, 10.07. And so I got filled. It must have been, I was in at 9.97, and I hit sell when I started seeing the level 2 dropping back below $10.10, and so I must have gotten filled at $10.03 for a really, really small trade there. I mean, $6, but yeah, it actually did make a pretty decent run up here to 10.38, which would have been, at least I probably would have been able, if I had hung in there that long, I would have been able to get a 20-cent gain off of it. But on 100 shares, we're talking $20. So at this point in the day, it was almost 10:30. It was a late trade. I wasn't willing to take much risk on it, and so, my results are $6. So that's just the way it goes. TAL. This is just one that I'm watching. I'm keeping an eye on this one to see how it behaves. This thing has taken a 60-something percent haircut over the past 5 months, roughly, almost 5 months. And it's still on its way down. Caught a technical bounce. So it was on the scanners this morning. Caught a technical bounce today. I don't think there's anything to be made of it, really. This thing's just selling off. So then on the broader market here, there's a really nice run up in the first 10 minutes of the day on the SPY right here. I didn't get into a trade on the SPY. And now it's rolled over. I was a good place to get into a trade on the long side on a day like this right here is right there at the bottom of this green candle, because you'll know very quickly whether you're right or wrong. It'll do, and this is a good example. This is a good example of a failure, which is good to recognize. If it come down, hit here, and then bounced, then you're right. But knowing a close, even a 1 minute close below this green candle right here and it not getting support is an obvious sign of failure. So this would have been your fail calendar. This would have been your fail candle right here at this 422.59. And it's looks like the SPY is really letting go here. It tapped new all-time highs today, intraday, made a high here. Let's check it out. Made a high of 424.63 and is now deciding to pull back rather aggressively. And I'd really like to take a stab at the longs on the SPY at this gap down here. This is a gap. Let's see when this gap was. Yeah, this gap was left open. This is regular trading hours. The pre-market and post-market on say the E-mini future or even the full-size future or the cash index. Doesn't have this gap. However, if you look back on the charts for either the SPY or the S&P, you'll see this gap from the 1st of April to the 5th of April. Is that long weekend? And so this gap is left unfilled. Otherwise, there's nothing for this chart to repair. There are no other gaps. Everything, even all the way back to the February dump, it's all been repaired. There's only one gap on the chart. And so I don't know. I mean, it'd be kind of like, why not? Why not come back and fill that gap, repair the chart, and then we can continue on our merry way higher. But anyway. All right. And so the VIX, let's see, the VIX is still below 18.21. 18.21 is the gap. And I'm still using it as a reference. I think it's still relevant for to gauge whether to be bullish or bearish on the SPY. Right now, below 18.21, well, it's not exactly a all clear sign for being bullish. I suppose once I could get really consistently bullish would be after the VIX closes below this support line down here at roughly 15. Once it gets there and is holding, below that, then I think it's probably go time for the SPY or the S&P in general. We could, it tapped the bottom of that line today in the pre-market right here. Came up, that was at 7:30 in the morning. Came up, couldn't hold. Buyers came in at that point. So, this could be this little pullback that's happening right now. This could be just a buy the dip scenario. So we'll see. All right, everybody. Good luck out there. Keep your risk tight. Click like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and I will see you at tomorrow morning's strategy session. I am out.